Good morning, gamers, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 5-ish, depending on how you count, of my Let's Play here on the Luvstar Fan Discord Beta SMP. Today, we have a lot on our plate, so I'm going to be breaking out the Stinger X3 patent pending, memo pad over here, in order to keep us on track. Order of business, number 1. Happy anniversary! Look at that. The Luvstar Fan Discord Beta SMP, just a few short days ago on August 22nd, turned 1 year old. Alright, so everybody say happy birthday! Yay! Okay, cool. I mean, come on guys, seriously, how many public, Minecraft servers have you seen that have lasted like this for over a year straight? Well, I mean, straight is a strong word, but and had a somewhat active player base for the entire duration of that. That's pretty impressive, huh? I think that is a testament to our community and how epic it is. So that's cool. I here's the thing. Was there any big, party or anything on the anniversary date itself? No. And was that disappointing to some people? Yes. But life happens. And at the end of the day, it's just another day, just like any other. And there's no reason why today can't be just as important. Except for the fact that it's not the actual date of the anniversary. But like we can just scooch past that. Okay. Order of business 2. What is this even about? What is going on? What am I watching right now? While I explain that, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go /warp ol spawn, and we are going to take a walk down, a literal walk down memory lane, while just to provide some more interesting things to look at while I discuss this. Apologies for my phone there. So what is this server? This is, there should be a sign over here. There's not a sign over here. Are you serious right now? It should say Luvstar Fan Discord Beta SMP right there. Anyway, so you already heard me say that like 5 times now, but what does that mean? And why am I explaining it now, like 2 seasons and 5 episodes into this bullshit? The reason I'm explaining it 2 seasons and 5 episodes into this bullshit is because it has come to my attention that the overwhelming majority of my subscribers are relatively new at this point. For a good little while there, it was just kind of like the same 10 people. So I didn't really have to go back and re-explain anything ever, because everybody had pretty much just been there since the beginning, right? But now I kind of want to, help anybody who may be a little bit newer, get their foot in the door here, as it were, and understand what's happening here. So, Luvstar is a Minecraft YouTuber / professional artist. Pretty cool person all around, and a while back, over a year ago now at this point, someone, that would be Galaxalin, everybody say thank you Galaxalin, decided to make a fan-operated, unofficially affiliated Discord server for any fans of Luvstar, because Luvstar did not want to have to deal with the tremendous headache of maintaining and moderating a Discord server by themselves. So someone else stepped in and did that, and then a little bit later on, a good person by the name of Kepler decided, you know what, we're all fans of this Minecraft YouTuber, and last time I checked, 2 + 2 does equal 4, so why don't we go ahead and open up a Minecraft server for all of these Minecraft fans to play on, right? So everybody say thank you, Kepler. And then nobody joined it. What's really funny is I was looking through the history of this, and you can see that like barely anybody joins the server when it first opens. I I'm not trying to brag or anything. These signs are so funny to me. You can't see them because it's dark. Hold on. What was the first one? Yeah, I may have been the last person ever to join. I don't. God, I want to meet whoever placed that. Anyway, yeah, I was a day one, as it were. Not exactly because I was like the most active person in the Discord. I actually don't think I hardly said or did anything at all in the Discord server until the Minecraft SMP like started opening, right? I think it was less a deal of like me being super invested or anything, and more me just being the only one who halfway paid attention and like read the news. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll join. And so there were a grand total of I got it. Shoot, I already went this way, but I'm gonna go this way again. There were a grand total of 6 people who joined on the first day. That would be Kepler, Ket, the head admin, Confused, Shy Guy. How many are we up to now? Yellow and me, and I might be forgetting one. Where is? Hold on. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, Yellow. Yellow, if you're watching this, we miss you. And I'm still really sorry that we never used your underground bunker for anything. It was pretty cool. Look at this, guys. There's like this giant storage room down here that nobody has ever used for anything. Yeah. And then, frankly, the server was a little bit rocky, because it was a little bit hard. I'm just speaking from what I remember at the time. If anybody wants to correct me who was there, please go ahead, because I could be wrong. But things were. It was like, well, I'm not sure exactly how long this is going to last. There was another attempt at an SMP before that. It lasted like 2 months. But then, really, the major catalyst that I think cemented this as a pillar of the community was sometime in October last year. Luvstar had been interested in this SMP that we had created in their honor somewhat for a little while, and they decided that for their birthday they were going to have an event where they would join this SMP live on live stream and play with all of us, which resulted in the total player count of the server tripling in a single day. I believe it was something along the lines of like 30 unique players registered before then, and then an additional 60 just during that live stream. In fact, it was such a shock that I think many people had the misconception that the server actually didn't begin until October. they they just assumed like, oh yeah, the day where everybody started playing. You mean like October 26th, right? No. We've been here for 2 months, guys. It's just that nobody gave a shit. Anyway, that was super fun. I'll try to put like some clips or something accompanying that. It is, I think it's probably one of the biggest, like, maybe one of the biggest beta servers, like, events, period. I almost said recently, but like, I don't know. I wasn't exactly there in like 2011. Were there servers with like I'm talking 50, 60, 100 concurrent players at the same time? That's pretty impressive. After that though, things kind of started cooling off, and getting in towards like January, February, March of 2026, the server was kind of dying again. And in a bid to revitalize interest, there were a few propositions like trying to have more active like community events, maybe updating the version of the server. But one suggestion that kind of resonated with a lot of people was to update the, not update, but like migrate, if you will, the location of the world spawn for the server. So instead of that hub, over there that we started at and we've been walking around for a little bit, we went ahead and walked north about 4,000 or 5,000 blocks and set up a new spawn, which, we kind of thought like, okay, this will be the best of both worlds, right? It'll be, we can still keep everything we've already built up until this point. I am getting so lost in this person's house. But, we also have this, new frontier to explore at the same time, right? If anybody wants to go back and look, just like I just did, they can. But, it still feels fresh, right? And that brings us, hold on, warp, if I could spell, warp spawn, back to the new spawn, as it were. Oh my god. Okay, and by the way, one more thing. Did I talk about how to get the Discord link? You need to be in the Discord server to join the server. I think I forgot to say the actual important parts of anything I was talking about, as per usual. I will see if I can get a Discord link in the description of this video. If I can't, you can find it on Luvstar's live streams, okay? And second thing, if you would like to learn even more about this server and its members and some of the builds on it, some of the lore that I have discussed just now, we now have a wiki for the server, made by Umbri. Everybody say thank you, Umbri. And I will link that in the description as well. So you can browse that and figure out what is this even about. Okay. Order of business number 3 that I almost segued into if I haven't forgot everything. Did the server fall off? Guys, I hate to say this, but honestly, kind of yes, actually. The server kind of fell off after the migration. Again, you see all these glorious buildings here, but and you might not know this watching now, but the fact of the matter is, like, most of the stuff concentrated in spawn here was built very shortly after the actual migration happened, and there has not been very much activity in the past 5 months. I mean, I definitely don't want to discredit some of the newer members. They've been building some stuff over here. I know we have what are the names, like Stroic, Parla, a couple other people. Definitely want to shout out those people. I don't want to just as the server continues, I don't want to just keep harping on about like the same 10 people that like I personally kind of know, because not to throw too much shade at them, but it's like, if you're not going to play on the server for for however many months straight, then it's like, I don't know, are you a core member anymore? I mean, obviously, it's, no hate to anybody. I get it that, like, listen, guys. Most important thing to remember here at the end of the day, we are talking about Minecraft. This is game. Play game. We are talking about play. Game from play. None of this matters, okay? It's like, if you don't... if people don't want to play anymore, that's fine. That's fine. But I would like to take a second to kind of try to examine some factors as to why that may be. And the big one, I kind of made a list of 2 or 3, but frankly, the other ones really I don't think factor in very much. I don't think it's any of the reasons you might think. I don't think it's because changing the location alienated any old members who preferred the old area. I don't think it's because changing the location confused any new members or anything. Frankly, I think it's mostly just because the place that we chose to set as the new spawn really sucks from a geographic standpoint. And to show you what I mean, I'm going to go ahead real quick and open up a tool that we have that shows a top-down view of the entire generated map of the server. Okay, so what we're looking at right now is the old spawn, right? If we zoom in a little bit here, you can see right there is where I warped to. There's a little hot tub. There's the Minecraft sign. There's some of those houses in the distance. There's that really big train over there, right? We can see all this. Okay, now let's zoom out a little bit. Remember, the center is like right there-ish, okay? And you can see, if we take a look, we have a pretty big landmass to work with. Like, we kind of concentrated in the southern area here, but there's a lot of room for activities up here. And even if we wanted to, we could go out here. I know most of this is desert, but there's a pretty good strip down here. Some people started moving into this huge snowy area. A lot of good land here. Nobody even started moving here, but there's a lot of very cool looking terrain over here, right? Plenty of room to stretch your elbows, right? Now, if we go ahead, we start moving up north here, and we look at the new spawn. There you can see where I am, right? You can see that's where you spawn in, and there's not a lot to work with. You can see it's a very scraggly little landmass of like little peninsulas and stuff, right? You know, there's not really any true ocean biomes in beta, but I mean, you would have thought we were trying to find one if you looked at this, right? What really needed to happen? Let me tell you, what we should have done, what someone should have done when we were moving is when we suggested, hey, why don't we stop here? This looks not too bad. Someone should have said, hey, guys, hold on a second. Let's open up the map and see if this makes sense. And I think if we had done that, the conclusion we would have come to is a huge, overwhelming, absolutely fucking not. This is a bad idea. If we had stopped earlier, there is a huge amount of land down here. There's a good amount over here. I mean, not a lot, but it's better than what we have. There's a good amount over here. There's a ton up here that even connects kind of a little, doesn't connect, but it has a little bridge over here, right? There's a ton of stuff over this way. There's a ton of stuff over this way, right? And we chose this tiny little blip of nothing. I don't know what we were thinking. So that's kind of a problem, is there's not a lot of room to spread out, right? Sorry, I had to look at something. So what personally I'm going to try to do, there might be a little bit of spoilers right here, is I'm going to be moving generally northward, I think is the best direction for us to go at this point. I know you could say this way, and I know there is a lot of land out here, and that's kind of what I was leaning towards, but a lot of this terrain kind of sucks. It's very hilly and densely forested, and would kind of take a lot of work to build on, whereas there's a lot more flat area up this way from what I've seen. So, yeah. That's So yeah, going back to the server now. I think that is my thesis, is that did the server fall off? I don't know if the server fell off, but it's, we're going to have to acknowledge the fact that it's just going to take a little bit more brain power to figure out a good place to build anything, right? What can I do about it? Well, I cannot change the location of the world spawn, but let me tell you what I can do about it. I think that if you want an active, thriving server, then you must lead by example, and that is truly the only thing that I can do right now. So, how do I do that? Well, in the past, I have taken on some larger projects, and in recent times, I've kind of backpedaled from that because, frankly, I had way too much real-life stuff to do. So you look at my house here, like at New Spawn, and this is like, God, I don't know, 1/20th of the volume, probably, of my old house, right? It still works very good. But, yeah, I've kind of shied away from the bigger projects, but it's something that I do want to get back into. And some of you, not very many of you, but some of you may remember that I did actually already start a big project at the New Spawn, right? So let's go look at that, and let's go talk about why this is not working at all, and I kind of really hate it. Okay, it's going to take a while to walk there, but I'm not going to teleport. First of all, so you can admire the scenery. Second of all, so anybody watching this who wants to play the server can actually triangulate where the hell I'm going. Okay. Hey, you can see it over there. Paradisa Beach. You would be forgiven for either not knowing what this is at all or having forgotten about what this is, because I think I only ever talked about building it in 1 or 2 episodes, and the main episode where I was working on this was by far the worst episode that I've recorded maybe ever, but certainly on the New Spawn here. So what is this? This was intended to be an area that I was going to flesh out that would be intended to mimic the aesthetic of Lego Paradisa. This was a tremendously bad idea for, let's think here, 3 major reasons, okay? Reason number 1. What is Lego Paradisa? Lego Paradisa was a sub-theme of Lego Town from the early 1990s. Very nostalgic. Not for me, because I did not exist yet in the 1990s, but certainly for some people. I would highly recommend watching Paper Dawn's retro Lego video. It's definitely the video that kind of spurred my own interest, particularly in the realm of older, not exactly super old, 1950s bullshit, but older Legos, because I've been interested in Lego my whole life, pretty much. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's notable for having a very unique aesthetic relative to the other sets that were coming out at the time, primarily due to its use of light green and what has been dubbed rose pink, which is not very well represented by this Minecraft pink. It should be a lot paler than this, actually. Yeah, it's pretty cool, but here's the thing. Here's the problem with Lego Paradisa, is that you are now an expert on it. You now know everything notable that there is to know about the theme. There is no more interesting history for me to cover, and it's only been a couple minutes. And if I wanted to fully finish this area. We're going to talk about this piece of work in a second, and build more buildings and all that. I would want to have a little bit of interesting commentary about the history and significance of it all, right? Because some of you may remember my previous huge project was the Flying Scotsman. We spent several episodes over several months working on that, talking about a whole host of interesting facts about the real locomotive and what inspired me to build it, and my history with like watching Thomas and Friends, and we talked about the speed record and the debate about whether it was Flying Scotsman or City of Truro. Whole host of cool stuff to talk about. Listen, guys, the fact of the matter is that when it comes to this, unfortunately, in my opinion, it just isn't that deep. So that's why I think this whole project is a complete disaster. But it gets even worse, because what you're looking at right now is a large field constructed out of cyan wool. And you might be thinking, well, hold on now a minute, Stinger, are you colorblind? Because that does not look like any cyan wool I've ever seen. You're right. It doesn't look like any cyan wool you've ever seen. That's because it's not actually cyan wool. It is spring green cloth from Minecraft Alpha, which is pretty cool. This is like the only actually cool thing we can talk about in the build. I just had someone make a texture pack for me that replaces cyan with this color. Because, right, an integral component of the Paradisa aesthetic is that light green grass. Here's the problem, though. Minecraft grass is not light green. It's green. And so, there's not really any blocks that you can use that are actually that light green color. But I thought, you know what? I was looking at those alpha cloth colors, and that spring green color sure looked pretty close. So I thought, well, that could be an interesting way to marry the two worlds, right? We can talk about a interesting discontinued Lego color and an interesting discontinued Minecraft color at the same time, right? But you might be thinking, well, hold on now, Stinger. If I join this world and look at Paradisa Beach, it's not gonna look like this, is it? In fact, it's probably gonna look more like this. Which, if anything, is significantly further away from light green than even just normal grass would be, right? Can you see for a second how idiotic of a decision this is to make this entire build completely inaccessible to anyone else joining the server other than me, right? And nobody stopped me. Nobody in the comments ever stopped to say, well, hold on, Stinger, I think you might actually be fucking stupid. Listen, guys, I'm not a genius. I can be, and very often am, wrong about a lot of stuff, and you don't need to be shy to tell me, okay? Okay. The third reason that this is not a great build is because of the difficulty of material acquisition. Snow is a pain in the butt to farm. It's not actually that slow. It's just really tedious, having to stop every 2 seconds to craft it into blocks. And wool does take a very long time to farm. So, like, at a time in my life where I had, like, no time or energy to devote to literally anything, I was like, yeah, I think what would be really cool is if I started this massive project that is completely meaningless to anybody, and nobody else besides me will be able to enjoy it, and it's going to take so much effort to even make a dent into completing it that I'm never going to get close. What a nightmare. For that reason, I am going to officially call it wraps here, all right? We can leave the poolside paradise building. Not going to tear that down. That's actually kind of neat. I am, however, going to reclaim all of this wool and declare the rest of this area completely free for anybody else to build anything in, so long as you don't tear that down, right? I think it's time to go ahead and throw in the towel here. I don't want anybody to be like, "Oh no, this is so sad, Stinger. I'm so sad that you feel so demotivated and like you have to give this up. And oh no, we think Stinger. I promise, I think it's actually really cool." Stop lying. The whole point of this isn't like, oh, I suck, I don't have any dedication. It's not like, oh, my ideas are all terrible. Listen, guys, I have some pretty good ideas, actually. You're about to see one of them, okay? The whole point of this is that this is a bad idea that never should have been started. The sad thing is that I did make any progress towards it. Okay? Okay. So, now, onward and upward to bigger things, okay? Okay. What can I do about it? Let me tell you what I can do about it. I can build something that does actually have some interesting history towards it, and doesn't take 9 years to acquire the materials for, and can be enjoyed by the entire server, okay? But, Stinger, I've got a question for you. Are you actually going to build it? I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. We've already started. Alright, listen up, gamers. Buckle your fucking seatbelts, alright? It's time to clock in and lock in. Because we are now going to embark on yet another great quest to build... Well, you'll see when I get there. Alright, and frankly, the Let's Plays might actually start feeling a little more like Let's Plays from now on. Because I might, no promises here, I might actually be able to start building stuff on camera. What a revolutionary idea. Once again, we're just following the path here so that you can actually see... Umbry, can you move this chest, please? We can't break this, by the way. It's not going to let me because you own it. Yeah. You just got to walk across this path here, over the river and through the woods. You may be wondering what that little road down there is. That is a future railway. So, i.e. not a dedicated walking path. And I definitely did not make the mistake of thinking that it was a dedicated walking path. Holy shit, we can see it already. All right, welcome to the Royal Aquarium. Or at least the part that I've built so far. Right now, we just have a little bit of a skeleton here to get the idea of the footprint. And we can take a little walk around the perimeter here while I talk about what in the heck this thing is. The Royal Aquarium... No. Let me back up further. Why? Wait. We need to go home real quick. Hold on. I need to get some props here real quick. All right, and this will start to make sense in a second. But let's go ahead and talk about why an aquarium, and why specifically such a royal one. Oh, we also have a gift here from Max, aka the Doctor. Thank you very much. Very, very kind of you. Oh yes, and thanks for the compliment on the roof. Okay. Yeah. See. Listen, we had to go to the storage room, or else I would have forgotten about that. All right. So all's well that ends well, right? Okay. Why do I not have any buckets? That's dumb. Okay. Here's the thing. Whenever you ask anybody, hey, what should I build today? In the old craft, right? Well, a popular and for good reason answer is to build something based on another one of your interests. And so, looking through, flipping through the catalog here, well, what am I interested in? One thing that certainly comes to mind would be aquariums, okay? For, like, half my life at this point, I've had an interest in aquariums, both those public and private, okay? Places such as this one where you can go to view various animals, and keeping fish and other aquatic life in your own home, right? It's a pretty fun, novel concept that's been around for some years now. And one day, see guys, look, I didn't make another dirt pyramid. All right, we put another retaining wall on it, okay, and put some grass here. Anyway, one day, I honestly don't even remember why, but it was relatively recent. I was looking up some history. Okay, I think I was trying to explain something to someone, or like making sure I had my facts straight before I said something. And before I knew it, I was spending more time looking stuff up than I was actually writing whatever the heck I was supposed to be writing. And what I ended up kind of falling down this rabbit hole of was the very early history of aquariums way back in the 19th century, like the 1800s, I think. And how they came to be and the development of all that. And I frankly, listen guys, I don't exactly have my fact sheet out with me right now, so I'm not going to say too much for fear of getting it wrong, but we can judging by the size of this building and its level of unfinishedness, we'll get there when we get there. All right, we can keep yapping about this in future. Anyhow, one such example, okay, one of the first public aquariums was the Royal Aquarium in London, okay? Now it's starting to make sense. Why is it called the Royal Aquarium? Well, because some stinky British people built it, okay? And here's the thing, right? I was watching this YouTube video on it. I will link it in the description. And one thing stood out to me as I was watching. And let me tell you what that was. They were giving the dimensions of it. And they were saying that the main hall was something like 49 by 104 meters or something like that. And me being the person that I am, I was like, well, hold on now. I know what meters are from. That's the thing from Minecraft, right? And so that started to get the gears turning. And I started thinking, well, hold on now. What if I built the Royal Aquarium in Minecraft? That could be a fun project, right? And initially, I started thinking, well, maybe this could be something fun for the old single player, the old forever world, right? But then I kept listening, and the gears started turning even faster. Because, let me tell you what, guys, the Royal Aquarium was a public aquarium, right? And it's not meant to be enjoyed by just one man. Should be open for all those with eyes to see, right? And so I was like, well, maybe this could be a candidate for a project on the SMP. Let's take a look at a couple other criteria. Remember, we were talking about Paradisa Beach. What were some of the problems there? Problem number one, it's not actually interesting. Well, in my opinion, at least, I might be a little biased because I really love aquariums and history, but I think there's a lot of interesting things to talk about with this aquarium. And here's the great thing, guys. Even if we run out of interesting things to talk about the aquarium, we can just keep on going talking about early fish keeping history in general. We can just keep talking about fish keeping in general, okay? There's a lot of ground to cover here. Second problem, material acquisition. I'm not going to spoil too much here, But I'll say real quick, sandstone is pretty cheap, alright? We're not gonna have to worry too much about getting more of this, alright? Trust me, I know a guy. Okay. Same thing with glass. We are going to have, if we come in the middle here, we are going to have over the top of this a huge arched glass canopy over like the central third, or maybe a little bit more than a third of the hall here, that's going to extend all the way from the front here all the way down sort of the spine to the back here. Okay, tons of natural light here, and once again glass. We're going to be able to come by that pretty easily, so no worries there. Okay, really the only thing I'm halfway concerned about is maybe cobblestone or bricks, but I've counted and I already have over half of the bricks I'm ever going to need for this, so, you know, when cobblestone is your main concern, I think you're probably doing pretty good. Okay. Is that all? No, it's not. Because here's what you might be wondering. Stinger, if you love aquariums this much, why have I never heard you talk about them yet? Here's the reason. Aquariums do not translate to Minecraft very well at all. This is kind of a concept I have talked about in the aforementioned worst episode I've ever made, which did admittedly have a pretty good point in it, which is that not everything that you are specifically interested in is going to have crossover potential with other things you're interested in. And that's okay, right? The example I gave there was that for my standards and my enjoyment, I personally do not think Lego, at least not so far with the pieces available and the techniques I've seen from other people. Admittedly, I haven't really tried myself yet, but I don't think it's a very good medium for modeling any semblance of a realistic locomotive, okay? I do not like the way pretty much any Lego train I've ever seen looks. And that comes a lot down to the fact that I have probably higher standards than most people for such things, because I you know, it gets to a point where perhaps you are too interested in the trains for your own good, and it begins to start, you know, you start seeing flaws that maybe wouldn't have been as big a deal otherwise, right? Similar thing here. In much the same way that I do not like trains in Lego, I really don't like aquariums in Minecraft at all. And a big really, the major issue with this is the little prop that I went and harvested over there. This sucks so bad. A glass block being 1 cubic meter is a major problem, because the walls of an aquarium should not be this thick. And you know, if you're talking about, like, and here's the thing, you may be saying, well, why don't you just use like a glass block or like an ice block or something, like a couple of them, and then have this represent like you know, this could be like a home aquarium, right? Just like 2 ice blocks. Obviously you can't really do that in beta, but we'll pretend you can. And it's like, yeah, there's, you know, you just use your imagination, pretend there's water in there. I don't know, guys. 2 cubic meters is pretty big. This is like, how many gallons is this? It doesn't look like anything in Minecraft, but the scale is so wrong that this is like 6 by 3 by 3 feet approximately, and I know that 6 by 2 by 2 feet is 180 gallons. So this is an additional 50. Oh my god, an additional 50%, right? Because you increase it by that, so that's what, 270, and then an additional 50%. If I'm doing this right, this is like what, 20, so 12, this is like 400 gallons, right? This is like the richest person you know cannot afford this aquarium, okay? To have in their home. This is absurd, right? And this is like the smallest you can possibly make it. Are you fucking kidding me? So yeah, it is completely and totally unfeasible without mods to make like a home aquarium in Minecraft. But wait, it gets even worse. Because, okay, let's go back to the idea of like using glass blocks as, you know, walls for an aquarium. Obviously, they would be bigger than this. I just don't want to like break all the torches when I put this water in here, right? Here's the issue with that, guys, okay? Even huge public displays are not a meter thick, okay? And I know that probably doesn't break the immersion for most people, but I'm stupid, so it does break the immersion for me, okay? Because I have seen, like, at an aquarium, a public aquarium I've been to several times, and have even gotten to see some behind-the-scenes stuff on, a couple times, actually, the Oklahoma Aquarium, for their, like, largest exhibit, their bull shark exhibit, okay, I have seen a sample of the acrylic used for the walls of that, and it's really thick. But when I say really thick, again, you know, we're comparing to, like, a, what, quarter-inch, maybe eighth of an inch thick glass for, like, a home aquarium, right? So, you know, even that is only, like, 3 or 4 inches of acrylic. So that's what, a tenth of a block? So again, it's not even in the same ballpark, right? And I haven't even gotten to the fish yet. You're probably sitting here thinking, okay, Stinger, you told me to call you out if you ever did something stupid, right? And you know, I don't know if you know this, Stinger, there's not a lot of selection for fish in Minecraft, especially if we're talking about beta. There's actually 0, unless you count squid. So what's going to be in these tanks? Nothing? Stinger, are you seriously telling me right now that you are going to build an entire aquarium with a whole bunch of tanks in it that have nothing in them? Yes. That is exactly what I intend to do. Stinger, second question, follow-up. Are you fucking stupid? No. Let me tell you why, okay? Because as I was watching, as I was reading, as I was learning about this historic building here, one detail in particular stood out to me, and that is the fact that for the overwhelming majority of the time that the Royal Aquarium existed, it had exactly 0 specimens on display because they all died. So yeah, what are you just gonna build this whole aquarium and have no fish in it? Well, that's what they did with the real thing. So actually, yes. And it's going to be accurate for it. How wild is that? And then, you know, we can kind of just ignore the fact that the glass is going to be way too thick. Maybe we can say, well, you know, I don't know if they had acrylic back then. Maybe I can find some sources on this. I haven't been able to yet, but not sure what kind of thicknesses they were working with. And I'm also not sure what overall, like, volumes of tanks they were working with, but if they didn't have acrylic, then yeah, they were probably going to have to make this a little bit thicker than 3 inches, if I had to guess. Or just make it not like 500,000 gallons for one display. But anyway, yeah. So, let's go back to the checklist, okay? Interesting history. I would say so. You can tell me if you think I'm wrong. I'll probably just tell you to fuck off. No, I'm just kidding. Easy to acquire materials, absolutely, and able to be enjoyed by the entire server. Yes, of course it is. Okay, and I mean, okay, you're like, well, what? You think everybody's going to walk in here and look at the tanks with no fish in them? Well, yes, they are going to do that once because it's funny. But then after that, here's the thing. It was called the Royal Aquarium, but it was really more like the Royal hangout spot. It was really more of the royal, like, botanical gardens slash theater slash ice skating rink. That's really what they were doing in here. And so, yeah, it's actually just a giant community center for everybody to hang out in, right? You know, kind of like some other clubs that I may or may not have made. Definitely had, you know, anybody saying I had any involvement with any clubs involving, like, you know, stripper poles and femboys. Those are all completely unfounded. No evidence whatsoever to back that up. But yeah, this is going to be squeaky clean fun for the whole family, and I am actually really excited to build it. I've been working on just this outline here and getting like a mock-up of the whole building in Creative, so I actually have a vision of what I'm working towards over the past couple of weeks, and actually even just coming on here and recording and talking about it is making me a lot more excited. What is this thing? Let me tell you what this is. We're going to go down here because very fortuitously I just so happened to find a skeleton dungeon underneath where this was constructed. And I thought, oh wow, it would be really cool to be able to farm some bones so that I can make bone meal so that I can farm all of the flowers I'm going to need for all of the botanical gardens and stuff that are going to be inside here, right? Smart thinking. This puppy is already self-sustaining, right? How cool is that? Here's the issue, though. I have game sounds off right now, but I'm pretty sure most people who are going to be playing don't. And having a bunch of skeletons clanking around here dying is going to be pretty loud. And I'm actually pretty proud of myself for this because for the first time, maybe ever, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to look up any tutorials for anything. I have a brain. I'm not that stupid. I can figure out how to make a freaking mob farm. Come on. It's not that hard. And yeah, really, it's not that hard. You just put some water funnels in. Here come the skeletons. They come down here. They get stuck in the lava. They burn. The stuff doesn't get stuck in the lava. You pick it up. Easy peasy, right? But then the issue with that is, how do we turn it off without, like, breaking the spawner? Well, how we do that is we push this button over here. Ka-chunk. Pop those pistons out with glowstone blocks on them. And now, look at that. There's light coming down here. There's like blocks on top of the glowstone, but you can see it's all illuminated in here now, right? How cool is that? The problem is that, you know, when you turn this off, this piston is going to retract. There's going to be a glowstone block here. But then if there wasn't this other piston here, that glowstone would still just be poking out the side and would be providing virtually the same illumination it had been prior. And so the system would get stuck off, right? So what we have to do is have a piston that pushes some other solid block over to cover the gap, right? And this took an insane amount of time for me to figure out. And you're probably already typing a comment that there's a way easier way to do this. Yes, I did think of it while I was halfway through fiddling with this. I could have just put glowstone. I could have put like upward firing sticky pistons with glowstone on the non-source water blocks down in there with a gravel block on top of it, so that when it extends, the glowstone is in the water and provides enough illumination up to the spawner up there so that it doesn't spawn anything, and then when you depower the piston, it retracts, pulls the glowstone in, and the gravel falls down on top of it, right? Could have done that, but I was too stubborn. I really wanted to figure this out, and unfortunately, I did have to look up a tutorial, and I'm kind of pissed still because I still don't really understand why this works, okay? Because for you to have this piston array where you have like 2 sticky pistons, and you have it where like one of them, oh, I don't have a button here. Okay, let me go steal the button from here then. Okay, and you have it to where you want them to like trade off, right? You have to have this very specific combination where the like redstone torch is like over this, and you have to have this redstone line over the blocks here. Like if I like made it so that the redstone, like let's say there were like 2 redstone lines coming out like this way, right? And the redstone torch was like facing and like coming over here, it doesn't work. It's like, it looks like basically the same thing to me, right? The redstone torch is still over the pistons, but for some reason the fact that this redstone is being fed over these blocks that the pistons are pushing makes it work like this, which is not very intuitive, and I have not been able to find any explanation why this is, because like it shouldn't be powering them. It's way the fuck up here. Why does this redstone all the way over here affect stuff that's happening over here? It's actually kind of pissing me off a little bit. I can't lie, okay? Because I was like, I'm gonna give this redstone thing the old college try here, and actually, try to figure it out, because surely it can't be that bad. Plenty of other people have figured this stuff out. But no, it actually is that bad, and it actually does just straight up not work, even when you do literally everything how it should be, okay? So if anybody else thinks that redstone is really stupid and never works, and that the whole system is complete and utter dog shit, you may now feel vindicated, because I have independently verified that now for you. Yes, you are correct. Redstone is a horrible mechanic system, and we should actually just blow all of it up with bombs. Very stupid. Yeah. I actually built something else with redstone, though, before that, and it's a much simpler mechanism, which is why it actually worked the first time without me having to look anything up. Okay. So once you get all your bone meal here, right, you're like, okay, well, now we can go ahead and start farming some flowers with it. So you just come down here to the grass field, pull the lever, and it releases all this water, perfectly spaced so it doesn't break the lever, right? And you can see here we just have, some lines going under the ground here up to the pistons, which have extended beneath these water sources, such that when the pistons retract, the water source flows out. Not exactly rocket surgery, right? Even a silly little monkey like me can figure it out, but I still think it's pretty cool. It works pretty well. It's not gonna like push all the items perfectly into the center instantly, but that's not really what you're looking for anyway. You're kind of just trying to do this more quickly, and then, at the end of it, you can run around and grab anything that might be on the edges. So yeah, pretty self-contained system, like I said here, for you to go ahead and get some flowers for your garden, right? And then I built it all underground here, so that even when, right, because I didn't want to build it, you're like, why is it all the way on this edge, right? And that's just because the terrain naturally slopes down here, right? Like what you're looking at right now is just naturally generated. I haven't built anything on this yet, except for the stuff over there on the edges, and then we'll fill in, the floor will be like right up on that level, right above our heads now. So this way, because like if I build it here, I don't want this like clunky looking flower farm in the middle of the aquarium, right? But I had some foresight to be like, well, I don't want to just have to tear it down as soon as I'm done with the interior. So this way we get the best of both worlds. We can just keep using it even after the interior is done. Okay, I am pretty sure that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And until next time, be excellent to each other.
And now for something completely different.
All right. With that news out of the way, let's go ahead and see what's behind door. Oh, hold. wait, hold on. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. Sapon. I might have to do another take of this. This is so scuffed. This is so scuffed. Oh my god, it's gonna be so bad. Okay, we gotta throw this. Everything goes in the trash. It's all garbage. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's so bad. Why is that? And oh shit. Hold on. You didn't see that. Hold on. Ah, fuck. Put that in the blooper reel. And you step back for 2 seconds and you're like, why am I wasting my life watching this? This is a giant sandstone rectangle. Extremely original, I know. I've definitely never done this before. I'm getting really tired and I want a break, so I'm going to stop recording now.